Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through a video I've wanted to actually film for ages, and it is how to plan a secret trip. I've been on a couple of secret trips in my time. Some I have planned myself, some I have just gone on. Nearly, I'd say 18 months ago now, I helped plan a secret trip for a group of work friends. There was about 12 of us who went on the trip. Since then, I have gone on another secret trip. I didn't help plan it, but I was part of it, where we went to Hamilton Island in Australia. This video will be especially helpful if you're looking to organize a secret trip for a group. I find that a lot of time there's a lot of information on how to book, like, you know, a secret trip for a couple or for one or two friends, but the logistics of a secret trip gets so much harder when there's a big group of people. Booking flights, finding accommodation, even, you know, booking dinner reservations and everything else. So I've got some notes on my laptop here that I'm going to be going through with you guys. So let's get started. Just to set the scene on how the secret trip came about 18 months ago. So it was with work colleagues, work friends, and we were basically celebrating joining work. I think at that stage we were in work 2 years. So what we decided to do is three of us decided to plan a secret trip for the group. Because we live in Europe, it made sense to just go to Europe because it took out the issue of having to get visas or anything like that. So obviously always take that into consideration. What we did was we text everyone in our WhatsApp group and kind of said who will be up for going on a trip sometime in October. So once we had the names of people who will be interested in it, then we started being able to create kind of and work around the logistics of it. Number one, sort out your dates. So we had said to people sometime in October, just to give them a rough idea of what might work. What we then did was we set up a doodle poll. If you haven't heard of doodle, it is so handy if you're trying to figure out dates for anything, for like brunch with friends or birthday parties or trips or whatever it may be. It makes life really, really easy. So how it works is you put in the dates that are potential possibilities, and people get sent a link, and then they can write in their name and they can tick the boxes against what dates will work for them. We obviously gave them the option of all the different weekends in October that would have worked. And then we also asked them, did they want to take Friday off work? Did they want to take a Monday off work? What were people comfortable with? So once we figured that out, we found a really good weekend. We decided we were going to go on the Friday morning. So everyone took the Friday off work, and we would come back on the Sunday afternoon or evening sometime. And then no one took the Monday off work. So just to kind of get that logistics sorted out so that everyone is comfortable with the dates, then you're going to maximize how many people are actually able to go on the trip. So that's a really important one, to get your dates locked down ASAP, because that can take a while. And another thing about your dates as well is making sure that you're giving people enough advance warning. So don't try to organize a trip for 2 weeks time, because you won't get very good uptake. I know for me, like even trying to organize lunch with my friends, sometimes we were like, oh well, I'll see you in 6 weeks for lunch, because people are so busy. So we actually got on to everyone in, I think it was June or July, for the October trip. So there was plenty of advance warning, and that meant we maximized how many people could actually go on the trip as well, which is really, really good. So that's something to keep in mind when you're setting your dates. Make sure they're far enough in advance that people can get their shit together, basically. The second big thing that you need to think about is budget. So what we decided to do was we decided to estimate a few things first and kind of get an idea of what we were able to do for a secret trip, and then we asked everyone, was that an okay range? So what we did was we investigated different flights to different cities, how much it would cost to stay in different cities, and came up with a rough idea of what we would need to spend in each city. Obviously some cities are more expensive than others, and you have to take that into consideration. So while it might be cheap to fly to one city, when you get there you might spend a lot of money. So it's about finding that balance. Obviously going somewhere like Paris or Rome, they're going to be more expensive than going somewhere like Prague or Riga. It's just understanding the difference in cost. So the main things that we looked at were obviously flights to get there, accommodation, airport transfers, cost of food and drink when you're out, and activities. So we kind of looked at it across those categories and we were able to come up with a rough estimate of budget, and that also allowed us to start doing the research on where we were going to go. Once we kind of decided, okay, this is the range, we decided that 250 euros will be able to get us flights, accommodation, an activity, airport transfer, and potentially some drinks as well. So everyone was happy with that amount, so we decided to go ahead and go with that. One thing I will say, and one of the guys made a very good point, is that we added in a 10 to 20% contingency. So while the flights, accommodation and everything else that we had planned out wasn't going to come to 250 euro, it gave us that little bit of flexibility in case the flights went up in price, or accommodation ended up being booked out and we had to go with somewhere a little bit more expensive. So add in just a little bit of cushion for you guys, just in case prices go up or anything like that. And if you don't use that money, then you just put it in a kitty and you can use it towards a dinner or drinks on a night out or something for the group. So once people have that flat rate of whatever it may be, for us was 250 euro, it just meant that we were able to play with a little bit more money. So that was really important to us. Another thing also when it comes to the budget and money, obviously, is giving people a deadline to pay. So because we all worked together, it actually worked out really well. We knew what day payday was, so we aimed to have everyone pay on payday. So what we did was a week in advance, and it depends what way you want to do it. We decided to get everyone to transfer their money into one person's account, so we made sure that everyone was set up as a payee, everyone was able to transfer, all that kind of stuff. There are apps you can use. Obviously this was 18 months ago, so things have even advanced since then. I have heard that Venmo is really good. I know there's other apps like Splitwise, they work a little bit differently, but we just decided to go with the bank transfer route. But I think the big thing is having a deadline that people are transferring their money to you, because you don't want to be left out of pocket or trying to scramble and pay for people. So just make sure that you have all bases covered and people are paying you on a certain date, and it's not too close to the time you want to go away, so that you're able to pay for everything and flight prices aren't going up as well. It's really important. And be strict on the deadline. Don't let people try and catch you out. I was talking there about, you know, the different categories and deciding, you know, what the budget was going to be. We did that using Google Sheets, which is brilliant. If you're organizing with a couple of other people, it's just the best and easiest way to keep track of things. So we had a couple of different tabs. One was, you know, the finances. So in that we were able to see what we had paid for, who had paid us money, who had transferred, all the different things that we needed to keep track of. In another one we had listed all the different countries that were potentials, flight prices, you know, general prices for going out, prices for activities, airport transfers. And because multiple people are able to work on the one sheet at once, you're able to see when someone's updating something. And then we had another tab, which is where we kept everyone's details. So obviously we were going to be booking the flights so that people wouldn't know where we were going. So we had everyone's name, everyone's passport number, date of expiry, date of issue, all that kind of essential stuff that you need to book. We had that well in advance, so we actually asked people to just scan on their passport and send it to us, and then we'd have all of the information, or take a photo of your passport obviously as well. But it just meant that everything was in one place, so if somebody needed something, I was able to go on and look for the information that was needed. So definitely recommend using something like Google Sheets. It just makes life so much easier. The booking process itself, I will openly admit, like you guys know by now, I've traveled quite a bit, and I will leave some other travel videos linked in the description below. I've traveled a lot, but I get very nervous paying for flights for some reason. I'm always terrified I have the wrong date, the wrong city, I put in information wrong, I'm going to arrive at the airport and there's going to be no flight, or I'm on the wrong flight. I'm totally paranoid about that. So one of the other guys had to book all the flights because I was so nervous about getting it wrong, and for such a big group of people as well, I just didn't want that to happen to me. One thing that I did do, and that's really helpful as well, is I use booking.com for accommodation. I'm a big fan of booking.com. I've used it for all my travels, but one of the best things about it is you can reserve places. So obviously because there was a big group of us going, we wanted to try and stay together, so we were able to reserve 2 apartments that were connected on booking.com in Budapest, and it just meant we didn't have to pay until we arrived. But it was great to know that we at least had them reserved and they were there and ready to go. So that's a really good option as well, and it depends what you're looking for. So you may be looking for a hotel, you may be looking for an apartment, or you may be looking for a hostel. You're able to find them all on that site, so it just makes life a lot easier for you. So we were able to obviously keep track of that in our booking.com. We would have links to our accommodation, all that different kind of stuff in there as well. So it made the planning process so much easier because it was all in one place. And the accommodation also came with airport transfers for an extra, I think it was like, it worked out like €2 per person. So we were able to book our transfers to and from the airport through that as well, which was brilliant. So that was really, really handy. And then because we had our flights booked and then we had our accommodation booked and we had our airport transfer, because we had that little bit of cushion that I mentioned earlier, the 10 to 20% contingency, we have money left over. So what we did then was we pre-booked an activity online, a pub crawl. Not very original, but it was a great way to start our first night. So that kind of gives you a bit of leeway, and it was cheaper to book it online than to pay for it when we got there. So that was a little cost saving as well. Okay, the big one, the actual logistics. So me and the two guys who organized it, we had a WhatsApp group. We thought everything through. So there was very strategic texts sent to the group. I'll have to read it out to you. You're going to get a lot of questions, and people will try and figure out where you're going. That's just a fact. Like, they will try and catch you out, and you just have to try not to take the bait as best you can. When we were going to Budapest, obviously Budapest is really famous for their incredible baths. So we wanted everyone to bring a swimsuit so that they were able to go to these baths, but bearing in mind it was October, so we felt like if we tell them to bring a swimsuit, they're going to immediately think we're going to the baths, we're going to Budapest, because it was obviously cold. So we had to try and make them think that they were going to a beach, which is why they need the swimsuit. But at the same time, it was going to be cooler, like it was autumn, so we had to pretend it got colder at night, so that people would bring like jeans and stuff. It was a nightmare. I'll read out the text that we sent to the group now. I'll let you know what the random items that weren't as essential in there. So we said, please pack comfortable shoes, a towel, a rain jacket or umbrella, swimwear or regular clothes. You don't need to get especially dressed up for nights out unless you want to, of course. Weather is warmer than here according to forecasts, so bring sun cream. However, the nights can get pretty cold, so bring warm jeans, jacket, etc. It was not warmer in Budapest than Dublin. It was pretty much the same. It was a bit rainy, but we just had to put in the towel, the sun cream, so that people thought maybe we were going to a beach. I don't know how many people we convinced, but it kind of left it open enough that that people were actually quite confused when we sent it, but it meant everyone had the essentials, so that was the main thing. One thing you should note is you'll be asked a million questions if you're organizing a secret trip. Do they need currency, dates, what to wear, logistics, or what to pack, budget? Do they need adapters? So many questions. Oh my god. But it's good fun. We basically said to people, if you need currency, we'll get it at the airport. If you need it, you might not. Obviously, we're in Europe, we're part of the Eurozone. We could have been going to France and we wouldn't have to change. It was just something that we decided, look, if you need currency, we'll get it at the airport. In terms of travel adapters, Europe tends to be, so Ireland and the UK are the same for plug sockets, but the rest of Europe is a bit different. So we encourage people to bring a travel adapter, but we said it may not be necessary. I think it was. I actually can't remember if it was necessary or not. But yeah, we just tell people to bring them. It will be fine. The actual logistics of getting people through the airport is hard work. It depends on the airport, okay? So we decided we were going to try and get them to the gate if we could without them knowing where they were going. If we could, which we managed to do. So what we did was, there was 12 of us going, so we split the group into 3. An organizer took care of a bunch of people, and what we did was we had everyone's boarding pass. So what we did was when you go into Dublin airport, you have to scan your boarding pass to go through into security. So what we did was we each went to one of the scanning booths and we scanned, and that person walked through, and we scanned the next one and that person walked through, scan the next one, that person walked through, and then scanned our own one and we walked through. So we kept hold of the boarding passes the whole time. Oh, another thing that we did was, so really when you're flying in Europe, you only need to be in the airport about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before your flight. We told everyone to be there 2.5 hours before, because we didn't want people to be able to look it up and say, oh, well, there's a flight in an hour and a half, we're probably going to X. So we gave ourselves a bit more time. It meant that we could be in the airport, we could have breakfast, all that kind of stuff. So maybe give yourself more time. And you can just chill out in the airport. When you're in a big group, it's good fun anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then there was another checkpoint for some reason. It was getting to the gate or something, and a security guard asked, how can I see your boarding passes? And we had to go up to them and basically be like, listen, we've come so close. We are so close right now to getting everyone to the gate. We're going on a secret trip. They don't know where we're going yet. Please, can we just show you all the boarding passes and let them through, rather than each person showing them their individual boarding pass. So luckily they were really cool with it. They let me show them all the boarding passes and let everyone go through once they had checked them. So that was totally fine. So we actually managed to get every single person to the gate without knowing where we were going, which was really cool. I was so happy with that. Actually, similar enough in when we were in Australia, we were flying from Brisbane to Hamilton Island. In Australia, when you're flying internally, it kind of is almost like being like getting on a bus. Like it's so weird. Anyway, we managed to get the guys to the gate without them knowing. I'll leave that video in the description below. There's a nice little surprise when we told them in the airport. I nearly got caught out when we were going to Hamilton Island though. We were going through security and the guy was really nice and he was just checking my bag and he was like, oh, where are you going? And I nearly blurted it out, and then I was like, oh no, don't blurt it out. So I looked around everywhere to see if the guys were there before saying it, and I could see the security guard looking at me like I was insane. He was like, why is this girl being so sketchy right now? And I was like, sorry, it's a secret trip. We're going to Hamilton Island. I can't let them know. And he was like, okay, cool. I'm sure they see it quite a bit, but it was just so funny. He thought I was actually insane. Good thing to do is set up a WhatsApp group or a Facebook Messenger group or whatever you want to do with the people who are going, so that you can send them on information, you can confirm times, anything like that. It just makes it a lot easier that way than individually contacting people when you get to the country. So we obviously were in Budapest, so they use a different currency to the euro. So one thing is, make sure you factor in time for when people get to the airport to actually exchange their money. So we hadn't done that, and our taxi man was waiting for ages to transfer us because we didn't consider how long it was going to take for 12 people to exchange their money. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are booking for a large group. As much as I prefer being spontaneous on trips and just, you know, going out and enjoying myself and seeing where the day takes me, it's a really good idea for a big group to book your dinners, because you won't be able to just walk in somewhere with a group of 12 on a Friday or a Saturday night, I don't care what city it is, and be able to sit down and get food. So we actually had our dinner booked for the Friday and the Saturday night, and it just meant that like people could go off and do their own thing during the day. We generally stuck together, but it just meant that at nighttime we'd all come back together, we'd all go out to eat, and then we'd go out and have drinks. So doing something like that just lessens the stress, because when there's 12 people and people are like, so what's the plan? What are we doing? And you don't have anything kind of planned, it can be a bit stressful. Yeah, so that's it. Those are my top tips on how to plan a secret trip. They're so much fun, and it's really nice to get to surprise people. If you're interested in travel videos, I have loads more where that came from down below. I will leave the links in the description box. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any questions or any other top tips, then leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. It was already 6 months ago. Wow. Yes. And it was just something that we decided. Sorry, this is in my face. Ow. Oh my god, my leg. Oh, I left it up there too long. Oh, it's dead. Hope this has been focused. And what's my other one? And I keep forgetting this last one. Why is this so difficult today? It's already gone in my head. It's still shit.